Brothers and sisters in Islam, we are about to enter upon the final 10. And these final 10 days of Ramadan are the most significant and important days of the entire year. There is no parallel to any other time frame than the 10 nights of Ramadan.
Every single one of those nights has the potential to be the most consequential night of your life.
On that night, every single matter is decided.
And so for 10 nights, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be looking out to His creation, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that what He sees from us is pleasing to Him. Allahumma ameen. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said
that whoever prays the entire night of Laylatul Qadr, all of his previous sins will be forgiven. And there are only two simple conditions. You stand believing in Allah and wanting Allah's reward.
And so inshallah ta'ala, I'm just going to go through 10 tips bi'idhnillah. The first tip, dear brothers and sisters, is to avoid the sins of the day. I think that this is one of the most underestimated elements of the last 10 nights. Throughout the year, لا تعصه بالنهار يوقظك بالليل. Do not disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during the day. He will wake you up at night. If you sin during the day, you shut the doors of the heavens for you at night. You might be entering into the night with a sin that has displeased Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two, remembering that the night does not start at Isha, but the night starts at Maghrib. And some of the Salaf, they mentioned that this is such an important point for us as we go into these precious nights, because how many people at the time of their breaking of the fast will lose out their Laylatul Qadr before they pray a single rak'ah of Taraweeh, before they even make it to Salat al-Isha. Why? Because over iftar, you might backbite, you might gossip, you might say something you should not be saying, you might do something that is not pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Ibn Qudama rahimahullah ta'ala said, and most of the people lose it in its early part of the night. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Number three, very self-explanatory, but something that we might lose. Catch Isha and Fajr in congregation. Sa'id al-Musayyib rahimahullah said, whoever prays Isha in Jama'ah, in congregation, would have taken their fortune of Laylatul Qadr. The Prophet ﷺ said that whoever prays Isha in congregation, it is as if they have the first half of the night, and whoever prays Fajr in congregation, it is as if they have the last half of the night. Number four, pray with the Imam a full set. The Prophet ﷺ said that whoever prays behind the Imam in Qiyam until the Imam finishes, then that person has caught the entire night of prayer. Number five, read the Quran extra throughout the night. Number six, the dua of the Prophet ﷺ that he taught Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. Aisha radiallahu anha asked the Prophet ﷺ, if I find myself in Laylatul Qadr, what should I recite? The Prophet ﷺ said, say, Allahumma laka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Oh Allah, you are the forgiver, you love to forgive, so forgive me. Number seven, make dua and dhikr even while you are in motion. I'm going to explain what I mean here. As you're walking, it's a time of dua. As you are moving, it's a time of dua. As you're driving, it's a time of dua. You want to make use of every single moment. And some of the blessed adhkar are the ones that are coming just as you are moving from place to place, going from house to masjid, wherever it may be. Even if you're waiting in line for your suhoor, keep your tongue busy with dua and dhikr even while you are in motion on that night. Treat that night like every single second matters. Number 8, increase your prostration, increase your sajda. Number 9, giving in charity. Spend the last few moments of every single one of these 10 nights in istighfar, in seeking forgiveness. وَبِالْأَسْحَارِ هُمْ يَسْتَغْفِرُونَ. And during the time of suhoor, that time, they are seeking forgiveness. This is during regular times. What about the last 10 nights? What I mean by that is that sometimes people will be eating and socializing until the very last minute. And it might be that in that last minute of one of those 10 nights, you say, "Oh Allah, forgive me. Oh Allah, accept my good deeds despite their shortcomings. Oh Allah, accept me despite my shortcomings." That in those last few moments of istighfar and asking Allah for acceptance, that the whole night is overlooked. And if the whole night is accepted, then a whole lifetime of reward is granted. So spend the last few moments, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, making istighfar, seeking forgiveness. Prioritize the last 5 minutes before the adhan of Fajr, every single one of these last 10 nights, inshaAllah ta'ala, and seeking forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma ballighna Laylatul Qadr. Oh Allah, allow us to observe Laylatul Qadr. Allahumma ameen.